Palestinian people as they suffer under occupation and oppression. We are representatives of the Jewish people true to the Torah from around the world, whether it's in Quds, Jerusalem, or in New York, or in London, or anywhere around the world. Wherever there's a very religious Jewish community true to Judaism, they are invariably opposed to the existence of the State of Israel, opposed to the occupation of Quds and of Palestine. We are here to remember that 70 years ago, the land of Palestine and the city of Quds, of Jerusalem, were inhabited by the Palestinian people. When the State of Israel was founded, these people were totally ignored. As the Zionist slogan went, a land without a people for a people without a land. They were displaced, oppressed, killed and robbed unjustly and illegally in order to make room for the creation of the modern State of Israel. And as if 70 years of that were not enough, salt is being poured on the wounds with the recent Zionist atrocities at the borders of Gaza and the recent move of the American embassy to Jerusalem. But these recent events are just an additional link to the long chain of the ongoing Palestinian Nakba and catastrophe. We cry with the suffering of Palestinian people under the Zionist occupation and are very concerned about the consequences that all of this might bring about for all people involved in the conflict. We condemn all Zionist atrocities in Palestine, and we long for the day when there will be peace between our peoples once again. The State of Israel does not in any way represent the Jewish people. Judaism and Zionism, Judaism and the State of Israel are diametric opposites. Judaism is religion. Judaism is subservience to the Almighty. Zionism is transformation of religion into materialism. Judaism requires of us to be loyal to the teachings of God, and the Torah has expressly forbidden the Jewish people from having their own state ever since this destruction of the temple. All Jews true to the Almighty and His Torah have always only striven to serve the Almighty and practice His commandments, not a yearning for political power. That is why for 2,000 years Jews never created their own state, even during their golden ages when they had the power and influence to do so. When Zionism, the movement that advocated the Jewish state, began just over 100 years ago, almost the entire religious Jewish leadership opposed it. They spoke out against Zionism's provocations against the Palestinians, which led to fighting and bloodshed. For example, on November 29, 1929, the chief rabbi of Palestine, Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld, wrote an article in the Palestine Bulletin saying, "Please do not be misled by people who plant the seed of separation between the Jews and Arabs. The Jewish people do not, under any circumstances, wish to lay hands on that which is not theirs. In particular, there is no foundation to the rumor that the Jews wish to acquire the Temple Mount Al-Aqsa. Since we went to Aqsa, it's forbidden for any Jew to set foot on that site." Later, in 1947, his successor, Rabbi Yosef Shinsky, stated in his testimony to the Special Committee of the United Nations in Jerusalem that we furthermore wish to express our definite opposition to a Jewish state in any part of Palestine. For decades, masses of Jews and entire Jewish communities have protested against the State of Israel, not just in other countries, but in the Holy Land itself. They don't recognize the legitimacy of the State of Israel, refuse to serve in their army, and protest all their policies. Under the Zionist regime, Jews who speak out are brutally suppressed. Recently, the Israeli government has taken this aggression against the Jews a step further. Not only do they want us to be silent in the face of everything they do, but they are attempting to force our boys and girls to serve in their army and help them commit the great sin of occupying Palestine by force. Those who refuse to be drafted are harassed and arrested, and those who protest are mercilessly beaten by the police. Those Jews and Palestinians are on the same side of the struggle. We are both suffering under the oppression of the Zionist regime. We are embarrassed that the Zionists claim to be acting in our name. And when they occupy land of another, they claim to be a Jewish state. The state of Israel is not a Jewish state. It's a Zionist state. According to Judaism, their movement is heresy and their cruel actions are forbidden.
Yes!
Obviously, since the whole state is forbidden according to Judaism, authentic Jews cannot recognize Jerusalem as its capital. We will not be silent until Jerusalem, Al-Quds, and the entire Palestine is restored to the indigenous inhabitants, the Palestinian people. One of the propaganda...
Long live Palestine!
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 Free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
One of the propaganda tools used by the Zionists is they call anyone who is opposed to them an anti-Semite, someone who hates Jews. We are here to say no, this is not about Jews. The Jewish people are your friends. This is about the Zionist movement, a movement to occupy and steal land, a movement that was started by Jews who broke away from Judaism, Jews who were not really Jews at all. Opposing this movement is not anti-Semitic. The Zionists don't want the world to see Jews here standing alongside people of all nations and beliefs who care about the rights of the Palestinians. They want the world to think that all the Jews are Zionists. They want to conflate Judaism and Zionism in order to fool the world and be able to accuse whoever criticizes their crimes of being anti-Semitic. We all know that the two things are completely different. Judaism is a religion, and Zionism is a secular nationalism. Judaism is 3,000 years old, while Zionism is just over 100 years old. This is not a religious conflict. Jews and Muslims have had a difference of religion for a very long time and still live together in peace. Rather, the Zionist occupation is the cause of the tragic conflict. The Zionists have stolen our name as Jews and are unjustly misusing the name of our religion to justify all their atrocities. The world must not be fooled. May the Almighty help to end the entire occupation peacefully without any harm to anyone involved, and may we live to see the days of the coming of the Messiah, when, as we say in our prayers, all wickedness will disappear and all of humanity will join together to worship God in harmony. Amen.
Free, free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
I'd like to now introduce our last...
Stop the war!
1, 2, 3, 4!
Stop the killing! Stop the war!
1, 2, 3, 4!
Stop the killing! Stop the war!
Now I'd like to invite the Honorable Rabbi Weiss of Neturei, Karta International, New York. Please welcome him with the adalah.
the help of the Almighty. I pray to the Almighty to bestow upon me His truth, His wisdom, that you may be able to sanctify His name and inshallah bring peace to the world. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. We are here on our Quds Day in Seattle, Washington of the USA, a corner of the USA bordering with Canada. Just one of the hundreds and hundreds of cities around the world where people are gathering to mourn this bitter day, the occupation of Jerusalem, of our Quds. The occupation of Palestine, of Palestine. Our Quds, the heart of Palestine. We are here because we are required to be here. Because the Almighty is the ruler of this world, of the universe. And the Almighty is just and righteous, and He requires of His creations to stand up for justice. To be silent is a criminal. To be silent is to stand by and see how God's creations are suffering, and that is unacceptable. This has nothing to do with a religious conflict, as every single speaker mentioned and reiterated over and over again for so many long years. There is now 70 years of this occupation. Not 70 years of Zionism. Zionism was created around 130 years ago. Zionism is an ideology that brought about this evil, unacceptable Zionist state of Israel. Zionism moved to further their ideology. They came up to Palestine over 100 years ago and started destroying, little by little, the fabric, the homes, the sanctity of the Holy Land, destroying the lives of the people of Palestine, the largest community, the Muslim community, and then the Christian community and the Jewish community. Communities that were living together in the same courtyards, helping each other as brothers and sisters. They were living there for hundreds and hundreds of years in peace and harmony, as one should, as one is required to. All creations of the Almighty. And then this selfish movement came along, the Zionist movement that is a mere nationalist, selfish, flawed ideology to better, so say to better the lives of the few individuals, people who have the selfish view of what has to be and what has to be. People who are powerful, who are able to influence the British government. Because of varied reasons, they were able to get the backing of the British government and take over control in the Holy Land. This has nothing to do with the Judaism of thousands of years, the Judaism of 3,000 years. Our religion is a religion, a covenant to be subservient to God. And we are witnessing today a movement, a monstrosity called the Zionist State of Israel, with all its trappings, its politicians, its rabbis, its leaders, thinkers, people who have one selfish issue, to control another people. if this is unacceptable, the Torah forbids us to kill. The Torah forbids us to steal. And they were able to get the United Nations 70 years ago to ratify the creation of this totally unacceptable existence, the state of Israel, a state of a few, of the smallest minority living in the Holy Land to control the largest group, the Muslim people, to control the Christian community, and to control the Jewish community that was living there for hundreds of years. They got the backing of the world nations only through the works of the Shaitan, of the Satan, because there is no other plausible explanation how a minority was given control over the majority. But they were given the control, which bodes and has to bring havoc and death and bloodshed. How could you expect, if you will take a small minority and give them control, how do you expect that the people who are there, how do you expect them to be silent and accept this and swallow this? We are not condoning violence. But if you will come and take Rhode Island, if the Chinese will come and say you have 50 states, we'll take one little state out of your country, what will happen here in the United States? We're not condoning violence, we're talking logic. And we're not condoning violence, but we're talking about the facts of what Judaism is. The Almighty says, do not steal, do not kill. This existence of the Zionist state of Israel is one thing and one thing only: a rebellion against the Almighty. Their mantra is, where was God when we suffered for 2,000 years? God is weak and will be strong by creating an army. Their state is rooted in heresy, and they're proud of it. They changed the language from Lashon Kodesh of the Jewish people. Instead of speaking the old holy language of the Torah, they made modern Hebrew. They made a law system, ignoring that we have a Torah. Of course, for the street, they made a rabbinate with the chief rabbi for window dressing, that it should look like it is something holy, like they're Jewish. They masquerade in Judaism. They took the Star of David, the symbol, the old symbol of Judaism. They took the name Israel, the name of Jacob, and they masquerade around and tell the world, if you're not supporting us, you're anti-Semitic. Yet they are the ones who are beating daily the religious Jews, because the Jews there who believe in the Torah refuse to serve in their army. We refuse to support a country that is rebelling against God by killing and stealing. A country that is clearly in defiance of the decree of exile. The Jews were sent into exile with the destruction of the temple 2,000 years ago. We were put under oath by God not to have Jewish sovereignty even in a desolate, uninhabited land. For 2,000 years, Jews respected this command of God till Zionism came about and ridiculed the religious Jews with the mantra, where was God all these 2,000 years? If they don't believe in God, why are they using our name to create their selfish haven? Why are they using my name to perpetrate a crime against God? Our grandparents were killed in Auschwitz. The majority of our communities are Holocaust survivors. Yet they have the audacity to take our relatives and use their blood that was spilled to further a rebellion against God. When the Muslim countries opened their doors for the Jews throughout history, by the Crusades, by the Inquisition, and once again by Hitler, They were the ones who are our friends who embraced us. Yet the Zionists have the audacity to use the Holocaust and to vilify these Muslim countries and these Muslim people. Where do they have the chutzpah, the hubris, the audacity to do such a thing? The answer is simply because they've forsaken God. They don't have God as a ruler, as a moral ruler to show what to do. So therefore they're ready to sacrifice anybody's lives on the altar of Zionism. Whether it is Palestinian Arab, Palestinian Muslim, Palestinian Christian or Palestinian Jew, everybody must die for their cause. They are the root cause of the endless rivers of blood that have been spilled for the way over 70 years. What we are witnessing in Gaza today, is one more link in this long, sorrowful chain of the Nakba. Today, we hear about a medic who just was murdered cold-bloodedly. This Najjar, a lady who simply went out to help others, and she died on the altar of Zionism. She is just one more drop of blood of this long chain of bloodshed. I carry around with me constantly pictures of Jews who are brutally beaten and assassinated, rabbis, laymen, children, because they're religious Jews and they demonstrate against the existence of the Zionist state of Israel. Go to our site, you can see this. You won't see this in the mainstream media because they're intimidated, either they're Zionists or intimidated by Zionism. My colleagues, my sisters and brothers of the Jewish faith in Al-Quds are out demonstrating together with us. They are here together with you. They suffer, they cry, they hurt with the people of Palestine. We are humiliated. We don't know how to turn and go on the streets when we see what is being perpetrated in our name. And ironically, how bitter that the world thinks the more the religious Jew, the more he supports this Zionist state of Israel, and nothing can be further from the truth. The more religious a Jew is, the more he stands in defiance to 1 inch of the Zionist state of Israel. We never will accept the Zionist occupation. It's unacceptable. Because we are Jews, we are here on the streets around the world. A year before they ratified the Zionist state of Israel, which was in 1948, 1 year prior to that, the United Nations sent a delegation to feel out the communities, to hear what they have to say about this creation of a Zionist state of Israel. Obviously, the Muslim community didn't want it, or the Christian Arab community wasn't interested in having a ruling of a Jewish community. But when they went to the Jewish community, you can look at what happened. You can read the records of the United Nations, and it's also what I carry around with me constantly. The chief rabbi of Palestine, Rabbi Dushinsky of blessed memory, pleaded with the United Nations. And there's pictures of this. You can see the pictures and you can see the writing. The declaration is in the United Nations documents. I'm quoting, "We furthermore wish to express our definite opposition to a Jewish state in any part of Palestine. Again, we furthermore wish to express our definite opposition to a Jewish state in any part of Palestine. Because this is not a Jewish state, it's unacceptable. We made a covenant with God to emulate God. We say in our wording, Mahu rachum afatu teirachum. Just as God is compassionate, you must be compassionate. We are to show gratitude for good done to us. What is this gratitude? By vilifying the Palestinian people, by vilifying all the Muslim nations, and claiming they hate us because we're Jews. That is the gratitude we are showing for being saved by the Inquisitions, by the Crusades, or by the Holocaust. How dare they? How dare they speak in the name of the Jewish religion or the Jewish people? Invariably around the world, the greater and the more religious the Jewish community, invariably they will be standing and opposing the existence of this occupation. Right across from Manhattan is the largest concentration of religious Jews. It's called Williamsburg, Brooklyn. There is not one single Israeli flag flying there. And if you will go to Mea Shearim in Jerusalem, or if you will go to Stamford Hills in London, or Montreal, where there is a very religious Jewish community, they oppose the existence of this occupation designed in the state of Israel. There is so much to talk about this terrible occupation, about the thousands of people who were just injured in these last few weeks. We go home and they are maimed for life. We go home and they are damaged psychologically, all of Palestine. We go home to homes, thank God, where we have water, where we have food, where we have air conditioning and heat. And where do they go home to? We are standing here in the rain, a little uncomfortable, but we can go home and dry up. Where are the Palestinian people going home to? Ultimately, the Almighty, with His compassion, will bring an end to this occupation. God is compassionate and He rules the world. Just as the great Greek Empire ended, and the Roman Empire, and many others after and before, when the world thought they will never end. When the apartheid was cased in cement and was recognized in the United Nations, and whoever opposed them, as Nelson Mandela, was called a terrorist. And yet at the end of the day, you take a child on the street and ask him about apartheid, about having black people sitting in the back of a bus, and look at you like you're inhumane, which is the right reaction. They will never be able to believe that here in the United States we had blacks in the back of the bus when there was a concept of apartheid. Yet when it flourished, they were considered respectable. But it ended because every evil will end. This apartheid, this worse than apartheid, this Nakba will end. We only have to do, though, because God is compassionate and righteous, we are required not to be intimidated. You are not anti-Semitic by standing up to this evil. On the contrary, the Zionist state of Israel is the root cause of so much bloodshed, of so much exacerbation of anti-Semitism. Jews, unfortunately, around the world are looked at as Zionists, and they are hated because of that. The Zionist hands are covered in blood. Spiritually, what they're doing to the Jewish people, and physically what they're doing to the Jews and the Palestinians. There is no condoning what they're doing. The only solution is, with God's help, the entire removal of this impediment to peace, the entire occupation. We have to stand up and don't be intimidated. If they call you anti-Semitic, say, we know the truth, that while we're here in Jerusalem, there's tens of thousands of Jews demonstrating in Jerusalem and around the world, and you're the anti-Semites. by supporting the Zionist state. We may not be able to see the end with our eyes, but it's the Almighty ultimately who brings results, and He will bring the end to the state. We are just required to do. We are required to stand out here and speak up. But the Almighty will bring the results. So don't be intimidated, and speak up for the people of Gaza. We said Jerusalem will never be the capital of the Zionist state of Israel, because just like the Zionist state of Israel is unacceptable, obviously.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. It's an honor for me to be here. I appreciate the invitation that was extended. And it's beautiful to see people from different backgrounds to stand up for what is right, to stand up for justice. We are here gathered today on the International Quds Day to speak up for the people of Palestine and to do all in our ability to stop this occupation. Unfortunately, we are standing here already 70 years of this occupation, 70 years of these brutal atrocities taking place. This continuous theft of land, murder and expulsion of the indigenous people of Palestine. We are here to express our pain for the conflict and wars which are continuing for so long. As we stand here, people in Gaza are standing on that so-called buffer zone, protesting in a peaceful resistance. And what happens to these people, as was described before? So many people have been killed and many more injured. And as a Jewish person, I am here to condemn this violation of Judaism going on for this 70 years. We have to remember that before the spread of Zionism in the 1920s in the Holy Land, Jews lived in peace with Muslims and with others, as was described here before. This is history that needs to be remembered. We need to use this past history in order to be able to vision the future. We lived in peace. Jewish people, the small minority amongst the vast majority of Muslims, we were respected and protected. By whom? By people from other religions. Why? Because the difference of religion was never a cause for conflict. We lived as loyal citizens amongst our neighbors, exactly how we are instructed and demanded by our religion. All what our Jewish communities in the Holy Land wanted was only the practice of their religion and their coexistence with their neighbors. Unfortunately, once this movement of Zionism came in with this agenda of power over others, at that point, sadly, this conflict began. This state of Israel was started in the Holy Land, not only against the will of the Palestinian Muslims. This was against the will of the Palestinian Jews at the time, and of others. Jewish people, the leader of Judaism, of the Jewish community in the Holy Land, Rabbi Dushinsky, sent a testimony to the United Nations Special Committee in Jerusalem, saying that his community he represents, which was at the time 60,000 Jewish souls, reject to the idea of having a Jewish homeland in the Holy Land.